episode 5, I think.
Episode 5, guys.
Yeah.
Here we are. The energy's high.
Oh, the energy is so high.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm ready.
Lewis,
I'm good to go.
Lewis, can you hear that? Can you feel it?
The rumble in my tummy.
It's the hype.
It's the hype.
It's building. I can feel it. It's out there. It's building.
Well, with that slightly off-can to start, hello everyone and welcome to episode 5 of Nothing But Stuff. As usual, I'm here. My name's Lewis, and as usual, my returning guest, Isaac.
Isaac Harwood. Yes.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for inviting me.
As always, it's fine until I find someone else.
Fair enough. Do we have any shout-outs today?
Not sure. We've been working with, let's call him a local artist.
A local artist.
A local artist on a bit of art for us. So
it's not finished yet, so I guess maybe not a shout-out just yet. We'll just start building some excitement.
Yeah, let's tease him. I mean, it's going to be on episode 1 when we release it, but
well, they'll figure it out later.
Yeah,
Perfect.
just know that it was late coming. So
We're putting things together.
Exactly. So let's just kick right off. Recent stuff. You got any recent stuff you've been doing, Isaac?
My recent stuff, so my commute's fairly long, 45 minutes each way, so I like to listen to my podcasts, you know, my podcast. I just listen to us over and over, of course, but when I'm finished listening to us, I do like to listen to other things. So I've been revisiting an old favourite. It's called The Magnus Archives.
All right. Intense.
By a production company called Rusty Quill, a British company, as far as I'm aware. It's basically a horror anthology, so every story is different. It's set in what's called the Institute, and they've just hired a new archivist who has to go through all of these written down statements and record them on probably a tape player. I think it is a tape player. And so he's reading, and so the writer is also narrating and performing, I guess, as the character reading the statements. And they're all about weird stuff.
Weird stuff.
Very, creepy and unsettling angle. It's not just oh, then they got murdered and there's blood everywhere. It's because, the people are making the statements, so someone's got to survive.
Sure.
And it's really good at just being individually horrible on each episode, so horrible, but really, really nicely, subtly done. But I think there's, I want to say, over 100 episodes, and over that time, it starts to build up a picture that's all connected and stuff. I'm not going to spoil anything because it's too good to spoil. But it's very good, and everyone should give it a go. The Magnus Archives by Rusty Quill.
Yeah, we seem to have a real trend of, on our podcast, promoting other podcasts.
But that's how it works.
I've done it once.
We give them a hug, and then they give us a hug, and,
Yeah, hopefully something much more successful with a bigger audience will give us a shout-out at some point.
Sometimes that's how it works.
I tell you what, if anyone does that, if you're out there and you have a successful podcast, I'll send you a hat.
I'll guest star on it. It's all I do.
Yeah. So
I'm a professional guest star.
Professional guest. Oh dear, I can't wait for the 1 week when you're not available, and I just have to go at it on my own.
Just on your own. Fight
a
stuff.
monologue.
Just running either side of the room. What's your recent stuff? What have you been up to?
Oh God. So last week you made me watch Mazes and Monsters, and God, that was an absolute turd. But I may have found a bigger turd that's much more expensive and much more modern, which I saw recently. Black Adam. What an absolute pile of garbage that is. Honestly, it makes the biggest sin that a superhero movie can. It's fucking boring. I've said this before. This will generate a comment or two, I'm sure. But Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, don't rate him as an actor. Seems like a lovely fella, and I haven't seen Pain and Gain. Oh, Lewis, you have to watch Pain and Gain. He's really good in that. One film does not make a good actor.
I was about to say, watch Pain and Gain, though. It's really
exactly.
good.
He has one emotion in this film, and I'm torn between either calling it frown or eyebrows.
I know.
But it's, oh my God, like, does he not understand that when you are the lead in a film, it's not compelling if you can just kill everyone with no problems? Even the big fight at the end, oh no, I got a little scar across my chest. That's it. Like, it's like, who gives a shit? It's not compelling.
Is that not a problem with a lot of DC things? Is they're just the heroes are too powerful. It's hard to make it interesting.
That's definitely a bit of a problem with the current DC universe.
Superman's interesting when there's kryptonite around. That's why every single episode of Smallville there's some kind of fucking kryptonite around, because it's boring otherwise, because he's just like, he'd win.
Sidebar, did you know in the comics back in the day there was something called pink kryptonite which made him gay?
Yeah. I mean, there's every colour.
Quality writing right there. But anyway, Black
I'm sure
Adam,
it wasn't bigoted at all.
Oh man, it's just, and you know, when you can watch any, obviously people are going to call us MCU fanboys when I say this, but you can watch any of them, and if they reference other films, it's because it's something interesting that they're trying to bring up, or there's like, even though there's like different styles and stuff, they all feel part of the same universe. But you watch the DCEU and you've got Batman versus Superman over here. You've got Suicide Squad over there. They're just so tonally completely different. And then they just like stick Amanda Waller in this one. And it's just like, okay, yeah, that's a reference to the other films. But you don't need to know anything about the other films. Like, it's just, oh man. I feel like
they've consistently since the beginning have tried to just cash in on the MCU the whole extended universe concept. Yeah. And they've just never quite stuck the landing. They've never hit the tone, like you say, to repeat that same tone and it always be good. Because I mean, okay, a lot of people don't like the MCU and a bit bored of superhero films, whatever. But the first run up until Endgame was just great. And to pull that together over however many movies it was is just a feat in itself, regardless of liking it or not. Yeah. But then DC come out with something like Joker, which was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I loved Joker.
Yeah, but the best things that have happened that have come from DC recently are nothing to do with the DCEU, Joker and the Batman.
Yeah.
And then everything that they try and get in this... Yeah, I'm happy when they make a good film. Most of the Batman films, some of the Joel Schumacher ones are shit. I think he did too. But for the most part, they're all good. But my God, that's the biggest sin. It's goddamn boring. And there's even Piers Brosnan there. And I'm like, he's brilliant. But he was probably on set for like 4 days.
Haven't seen him for a while. A long while.
He's got that sort of old... I mean, he's British, but he's Irish, but you know what I mean. Like, he's got that sort of like refined quality about him, but he's probably on set for maybe a week and the rest of him's just like CG. And it's just like, oh, for God's sake. Like, whenever he puts his helmet on, he's clearly not there and he's just done a voiceover. But yeah, highly disappointed. Yeah. Don't go see it. It's trash.
Okay, but what would you rather watch again tomorrow? Black Adam or Mazes and Monsters?
Oh.
You've seen Mazes and Monsters twice already, and it was really boring.
It is. I mean, I can't believe I'm about to say it, but probably Black Adam because it's just visually more interesting.
It's not that bad, but yeah, okay, fair.
But no, fair. It's like out of every superhero movie I probably watched in at least the last 5 years, and Marvel's like on that sort of moment at the current time where, you know, they're trying to reset, trying to do all of this. It's still the worst one that I've seen in quite a while.
You mean you don't want to listen to that ballad again 3 times in Mazes and Monsters? I will always be your friend. Just again and again.
I'll put it this way. I'd rather make that my fucking ringtone than watch Black Adam again.
Ringtones. That's a whole new story.
Exactly.
Let's not dive down that rabbit hole. Let's fight stuff. Let's stuff this butt. The audience cheers in unison with me. Fight stuff. Should we just get straight into it? I've got it generated. It's a cracker.
Oh, good.
It's a cracker, Lewis.
The score right now, I believe, is 2-2. So this is the decider for this week.
For this round. Okay, Lewis. Today, you will be playing Yoda.
Excellent start.
Yoda with cheesy chips with garlic mayo.
Okay. Okay.
And I am Aunt May, brackets any. So
Okay.
I haven't decided which Aunt May I'm going to be yet.
Please decide on that before we start.
And if you stop there, you're like, well, Yoda doesn't stand... Aunt May doesn't stand a chance against Yoda, but Aunt May comes with a 50 caliber machine gun.
Okay, that evens the odds.
And we're in a strip club where Aunt May is either working or visiting.
I'm guessing Yoda's a patron. Tits there are.
Dollar is.
I'm going for the version of Yoda in the original films where he's like older and weirder and creepier.
The version of Yoda.
The version of Yoda.
The version. I don't know what version of Aunt May I'm going to be. The sexy new one is like top of the list.
Marissa Tomei.
I'm going to go back one. No, two. I'm going back two. To Rosemary Harris in the is it the Sam Raimi
Tobey
Spider-Man?
Maguire vehicle.
Yes, Tobey Maguire one. So she's old. She's got the white hair, the wrinkles. She's got the little what do you call the bandana thing around the shawl that's tied around her neck?
And a little umbrella.
Her brown coat, and she's doddery. She's doddery to say the least. But she's got an itchy trigger finger, Lewis.
What I don't understand as well was how old were Peter's parents, if that's his aunt? Because they're old enough to be his grandparents in that
I
film.
always thought that.
I mean, he's like a 28-year-old man playing a 16-year-old, but it's by the by.
She's basically in a nursing home in the comics.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a great aunt. No, it doesn't make sense.
Right, roll to kick off then. I got 2.
I got a 5.
Well, then Aunt May has got the initiative here.
As always. I think there are terrified strippers huddling in corners. There are muffled screams around the room.
Why? Nothing's kicked off yet.
As Aunt May has fully lost it. She's been rejected by the staff. They've cut her off. She's been at the bar too much, too many porn star martinis. Mm-hmm. And she's on the center stage. How do you call it? Dug in? Like barricaded up. The pole has been replaced somehow with a 50 cal machine gun. And the place is barricaded in. No one can leave, no one can enter. Where's Yoda? That's my move. That's my move, castling up.
So Yoda, thinking that he's just having a pleasant evening. You know, he's been out for a few. He's had a few pints, a couple Guinnesses, which for a man his size, a Yoda his size.
Yeah, no one's ever said what he is.
Yeah, I don't think they've even ever said what race he is. He's just a Yoda.
Yep.
So, he's had a couple. He walks in. He's got his cheesy chips in hand. Yeah, he's half eaten.
Extra garlic mayo.
Oh god, we're gonna get slaughtered for these voices. But yeah, so he walks in, sort of
into what, the lobby?
The lobby.
There's chaos going on.
He goes up to the concierge of the strip club.
Look, I've barricaded myself in. You can't get in yet. That's my move. You got to get past my barricade. So yeah, you've probably got a floor manager out there.
Yeah, he's gone past the bouncer. He's shown his ID. He's over 900 years old. He can get in. So sort of hobbling with his stick, looks up, sees Aunt May there with a look of determination on her face, a steely eyes staring at him.
What is it on the TV screen outside the
he's walked into the
door?
Oh, I thought
I'm barricaded in, Lewis.
I thought you said you were on the stage.
Yeah, and I'm barricaded in the room. The whole strip room.
Strip room.
You obviously haven't been to many strip clubs, Lewis, but you go into the strip room.
Oh, okay. So here.
So you're in that's what I'm saying, the lobby. You're in the lobby, and there's a terrified floor manager there.
Okay, so I mean, I'm not going to keep trying to do Yoda's voice because I will embarrass myself. But goes, and I can do that bit. And noticing this, he sort of deftly looks up and sees it's like individual ceiling panels. So just flips up into the ceiling. and then starts crawling along
while eating cheesy chips.
He's sort of popped them on the top of his head to balance as he's crawling along.
Okay, these aren't die-hard vents though. These are real vents. It's just full of shit.
No, it's like a drop ceiling. So he's just like, it's very light. He can crawl along and then sort of peeks up and looks in and sees Aunt May like scanning the room, and sort of flips up the roof panel all of a sudden. And as he drops down through into the strip room, as you call it,
the strip room,
he just fucking wangs the cheesy chips covered in garlic sauce at her face, attempting to blind her.
I like that we've made this rule that you have to use the weapon, quote unquote weapon, that they're given, and the first move we ever do is just fucking throw whatever it is. You've had Pikachu throwing a rock, Bob the Builder throwing like a wrench or something.
Actually, I was Professor X.
I guess, yeah, sorry.
The bag of dead animals.
Bag of dead animals, okay, half the time you've just thrown it at them.
No, I'm pretty sure I threw a snake.
So he's throwing cheesy chips with garlic mayo, extra garlic mayo at Aunt May.
At her eyes. Force assisted.
I think force assisted. Put away. And I think just as soon as that, I told you, itchy trigger finger, as soon as that roof panel kind of starts to twitch, Aunt May's just like, she's got her shawl, it's all kind of disheveled. She's got that crazy look in her eyes that we all know and love. And she's opening fire, but it's uncontrolled, spraying it all over the place. Yoda obviously slips between the bullets, but I think the chips kind of just get like pulverized mostly, except for the one which had even more garlic mayo on and just kind of slaps her in the face and dribbles down, and she's like, I could make better at home. And just, she's going to just hammer down that trigger, aiming at wherever Yoda is.
Okay, you see, this is a known problem in the Star Wars universe, though, because what do the Mandalorians use? Because they know that Jedis can deflect blaster bolts. They use bullets. They use flamethrowers because it's very much harder to deflect that stuff. So he's just trying to be like a blur. He's using that force speed, which they always forget that they have in important moments in films.
That's Star Wars.
Yeah. And, he's just ducking around, jumping up here and there.
He's doing the flips from Attack of the Clones.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's full versus Dooku star right now. And withdrawing his lightsaber. And did you say May was on a higher stage?
Oh, she's on the stage, baby.
Excellent. So he's darting forward as quick as he can, lightsaber coming out and igniting, cutting a hole in it and going under the stage.
Ooh. I wonder how many strippers Aunt May just killed with that 50 cal. A 50 cal machine gun is extremely powerful.
Yes, it's used to destroy vehicles.
It's just obliterating everything in the room, just into splinters. There's definitely some dead strippers out there. Maybe a stray bullet caught that sleazy floor manager outside in the lobby too, just for fun. I win. And okay, so you've gone underneath. I think I've seen that. The 50 cals run empty. Like, it's just clicking over, trying to load more rounds, not working. So she pulls off her coat to reveal the corset and fishnets underneath.
Oh my God.
She was here for a job interview. I've changed my mind. That's why she's mad. She was rejected. On the spot, almost as soon as they saw her, she was rejected. And she's going up. If you're going under, she's going up the pole. Which I said she'd replaced, but it's actually still there. So she starts going up the pole really nimbly. They should have at least given her a try. I think
there is a clientele out there who will pay for that.
Oh yeah, she just needs to get online. That's what I've been telling her, but she hasn't been listening. So she's.
I'm definitely not one of them.
I could give you a list of references. She's spinning up towards the top of the pole in efforts to escape.
Okay, Yoda, using his force abilities, can sort of sense where she is. So what he's doing is...
she's squeaking up that pole. You don't need force to know where she
is. So he's sort of, using the force, guiding the end of his lightsaber blade, and he's sticking it right up the centre of the pole.
Ooh.
And he's just holding it there. He's just heating the pole up very much like they do in episode 1, melting through that door, and it just starts. The bottom of the pole starts, melting and then dropping off. And he's just holding it up, and the heat is just rising and rising up the pole.
I think it's gonna do like a timber and just kind of go down sideways with Aunt May at the top, like with full velocity, and she's just gonna crash. Her fall broken by more strippers,
who are still very close by.
As she rolls around in them for just a little bit too long, before getting to her feet in her 9-inch stilettos. And her handbag just deftly falls off her shoulder, landing in between the caress of her fingers as she starts spinning it round and round and approaching Yoda.
Okay. Well, at this point, I think Yoda's just jumping out of the ground and telling her to surrender. Because, she's not got a gun now. Yeah, he's a defender. He's a keeper of the peace. He's not there to kill unless he has to. So he gives her one more chance. Surrender, you will.
She rushes him. Never! This is for Uncle Ben! It's not. I don't think she calls him Uncle Ben. Yeah. This is for Benny boy, Big Ben. I used to call him. She's going for the swing. She's going for the swing with the handbag. But that's not all. It's a feint. There's mace in the other hand. Quick spray into Yoda's face as the handbag comes down with full force.
Well, as focusing more on the handbag, he's just swinging the lightsaber and chopping her arm off, for one.
Okay, so he's blinded and she's missing an arm. Handbag flown off.
Yeah. And then...
It's her turn. It's her turn.
Okay.
You did the chop. You did the chop. Okay, unless you want to follow up with something, I guess.
He was just going to swing around and then try and take her out at the knees as well, try and chop them off.
Oh no, doing an Anakin on him.
Like, cutting off limbs in the Star Wars universe is nothing. So...
yeah, whatever, we'll just go to the shop, buy some more limbs. Okay, so Aunt May's in the Star Wars universe now.
Not necessarily. He thinks she can get more limbs. She knows she can't.
Yeah, this is it. Going for that low blow. Okay, but the thing is, one of those legs is already off the ground because she's going for the eye jab with that stiletto.
You're determined to make Aunt May win this, aren't you?
I'm trying hard. Eye jab with the stiletto, but I'll take the loss of the leg. She's missing one arm, one leg.
How's she balancing?
Oh no, she's down.
Oh, she's down.
Stuck in Yoda and fallen down, so the foot's still in his eye. Okay,
so he's got a foot in his eye, stiletto in the eye, through the eyelid as well, because his eyes would have been closed.
It's probably all the way in there, but you're going to keep fighting, so let's keep going.
He's just swinging it around and cutting that leg off as well.
Okay.
And so she's got one arm left. God, this is brutal, this one.
Yeah, we're getting real dark.
Just a frog killing an old woman.
Hey, she's pretty well armed.
Not anymore.
Half-armed.
Yeah, so he's chopping off that last one, pulling it off and trying to force heal his eye. So she's got a moment to recoup. Well, not recoup, but regroup, definitely.
Nah, I think Yoda's got this one. I think she's lost 3 limbs. She's given it all she can. But Yoda's got too much age and wisdom on this old chick, this old bird. She's going to bleed out and just be like...
Oh no, she's not going to be bleeding.
Oh, it's cauterized. She's passing out from the shock. Death, the darkness about to take her. She's going towards the inner light. And she says,
Uncle Ben!
Great power comes great suffering. And she just goes...
We'll miss you. We'll miss you very much, Aunt May. Well, I think Yoda at that point will probably run over, force heal her and arrest her, but yeah, she's done.
She's out. All right, fine. 3-2.
Yeah, baby.
She had a good chance at that 50 cal.
Okay, I'm surprised you said it ran out of ammo. I was expecting just a hailfire.
I gotta move things along, man.
Yeah,
keep it interesting. I thought the coat coming off like Bruce Almighty to reveal the outfit was a nice twist.
Yes, blood has rushed to no parts of my body, I can assure you.
Anyway, about those websites.
Rule 34, it's probably somewhere.
Oh, yes, and I'm deep diving. I'm going to find some fanfic.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Right.
Movies. Movies. One of Lewis's favourites. So I'm going to have to...
movie stuff. Give it the correct title.
Movie stuff. We are going to stuff this butt today. I do have to keep Lewis in check a little bit with the stick of obedience. We're on video. And Lewis, if I make this action, which is kind of like I'm whipping you, it's just stop talking, Lewis. Stop. That's what it means. Okay? Got it? Rules clear?
When can I start talking again, though?
Okay. I'll introduce the movie.
Uh-huh. And I'll run through the plot.
The entire plot. He'll do it scene by scene. So this is 2019's The King, on, I think, produced by Netflix. And it stars Timothée Chalamet playing a wrong-un to begin with. The kind of laughingstock, drunkard prince, the older prince of England. It gets going, Lewis. How does it get going? I've got a good note for the start.
Yeah, just to quickly run through the plot of this film, it's the classic sort of spin on the Shakespearean tale, spin over the real-life history of the king. King Henry, a reluctant man coming to the throne in this film. His father dies, leaving him to become king after his younger brother is killed, who is named the successor, who dies in battle. And then he's basically getting tormented and provocated by France.
Provoked.
But he doesn't want to go to war. He doesn't want to. But eventually he feels he's been prodded so much that it's making him look futile and weak. So he goes to war with France, eventually wins the famous Battle of Agincourt. But then at the end, he's made to look a fool. And he's been manipulated himself. And honestly, I think this is a terrific film.
It is. Oh yeah, I was a little bit like when you said it, because I watched it like within the last year, which is a bit soon for a rewatch for me. But while I was watching it, like it's pretty fucking good. So we're just gonna do a plot summary, because at the beginning, just run through the whole movie like that, are we? Is that the new thing? I
think just in case you haven't seen it, just to get the basic story,
so we don't get carried away talking about the silly little bits.
Yeah, well, no, that means now we can just dart in and out wherever we want.
True. Okay, I'll start it off then. I think as a tone setter, as the intro, they do a really great job, because one of my favourite bits about this film is how messy things are when it comes to like war and fighting, and it's not glory, it's not sunsets and shining armour and stuff, it's muddy, it's bloody, it's painful, and it's exhausting. So it starts with just a battlefield of moaning, essentially corpses, everyone covered in mud, and a soldier kind of trudging through until he finds some guy like crawling the wrong way. I think he says, you're crawling the wrong way, mate. And says France is that way. Scotland. Is it France? Scotland's that way, right? We're up there. And finishes him off with a nice, it's like one stab and then an extra stab to push it through all that viscera. And again, that's what I mean by the tone setter. It's like, okay, this one's a crunchy one.
Oh yeah, kicks off brilliantly, and it doesn't get any prettier than that. Especially when very soon after that we're introduced to Ben Mendelsohn's character, who plays Henry's father, the current incumbent king, who's just so good at playing a bastard. Like, he's so good at playing a bastard. Oh God! Just off the top of my head, he's in
Ben what?
Ben Mendelsohn. Australian actor, you'll recognise him as soon as you see him.
Okay, yeah.
He's in. He plays a Skrull in the MCU. But he's in a bunch of stuff. But he's brilliant, really good actor.
He's like an officer in Rogue One, one of the nasty ones. Yeah,
he's excellent. Yeah, he's been in some big media over the last few years. But I think what one of my favourite bits of this film as well is the first fight that Henry has. He's trying to stop his brother from going to war, and so he just basically turns up and challenges Henry Hotspur to a one-on-one duel. And like you said, after 15 seconds, the swords are gone, and they're just rolling around in the mud, and they literally stop for like 10 seconds, and they're just like, oh my god, this is exhausting. Just lying on top of each other. Yeah. It's just grim.
Yeah, you're jumping ahead with up to that bit. I do. Yeah, so before that, they kind of introduce the main characters, who's Timothy Chalamet's King Henry, and who's the party animal prince is kind of how he's introduced, and his side buddy, what's his name? Matthew or something? William? Who's his main buddy?
Falstaff.
Falstaff, yes, who's
Lord
like the honourable kind of brigand vibe, so like two instantly likeable kind of tropes. There's that bit where you mentioned the brothers about to go to war. I thought there was a really great bit before that when Henry's called to see his king dad. His king, I was like, his dad was both. It's his king dad, his dad king.
Papa.
Because he's dying, he's super sick, and Timothy Chalamet is just like, fuck you, I fucking abstain from the throne, blah, 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 fuck this. And as soon, and they do it just with a look, they kind of convey loads of emotion. As soon as he finds out that his brother is going to go to battle, like he just completely switches to just like care and love and concern, I guess is the main one. And ignore, like, he's not talking to anyone else except his brother, like, directly, just like, are you fucking serious? Like, don't fucking go, you stupid idiot, don't fight.
Yeah.
Just like love. And I thought that was really well done because, you know, you get their relationship immediately, like, great acting. I'm just catching us up to where we are with my notes. When the brother before the fight is sitting there, like looking at his men, and he's in like the biggest, clunkiest armor. This tiny child just does not fit at all. He's trying to sit down on this little seat, and it's like that's exactly what it would be like. You'd never fucking wear plate armor; it'd be so heavy.
Yeah. Well, apparently, it's actually not. Apparently, modern soldiers actually carry more weight on them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, you've got all this metal, like rigid metal on all your joints.
It's not good for agility, I'll give you that.
Yeah. But yeah, the fighting, as you say, I'm going to say it a few times throughout this, but it's heavy, slow, exhausting. They did a really cool thing with the audio, with having the breathing in the helmet, like that kind of tinny noise that kind of puts you in that suit of armor. It's like, yeah, man, fuck that. Like, you'd be so tired after two swings of that sword.
Yeah.
They did it really well.
Yeah, and then after that bit, he's basically goes back to what's it called? The village is called like Cheap Sheet or something like that.
Cheap Sheet.
East Cheap, that's it. And he goes home and he just goes back to getting pissed and stuff. After his brother's just like, you fucking ruined my day, you bastard. Because he ends up winning the fight, obviously, otherwise it'd be a short film.
He emasculated him a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it was meant to be his chance to prove himself now that he was going to be king. It was taken away from him. And then, like, immediately he's getting visited by people in his dad's court. And they're just like, is there any chance you want to be king? And he's just like, no, I told you. And he's just like, yeah, your brother died, so you're going to be king. And what I really like the following scene from that, when he goes and visits his dad in his deathbed and literally just walks up, pulls the sheet off of this old well, not that old, he's like 45, but in their time.
It's the king, still.
Yes, yeah. Pulls the sheets off of him, so he's like shivering there as he dies. And then you can just see everyone's face in the room as the king dies. And you know that Henry's now going to become king, and everyone's just like, fuck. Because they were like openly insulting him when he was like taken out of the succession to the throne.
Yep.
And I just love that look on everyone's face of, fuck me, we're in trouble now.
He's good. And doesn't he say something like, I won't be the king you're used to, or something along those lines?
Yeah. You will suffer the indignity of serving me.
Yeah. Punishes them by making him shine their shoes, essentially. Shine his shoes. I wrote a little note here. Some of these notes I'm going through, I'm like, I'm not quite sure what I meant. But in this one, I like how anyone vaguely around the age of 40 is called an old man.
Yeah, well, they were.
Yeah, because they were. I know, that's what I mean. Like, it just like slightly, like way younger than our dads, and they're like, old man, you're not long for this world. It's like, shit, I'm really close to that.
Yeah, but back then, you like get a flu when you're over 30 and you're done.
Yeah, no, I know. I just thought it was a nice touch. Yeah, actually.
It's very apart from occasional like men in the clergy who do get a bit older, but they obviously live much more
Protected
sheltered lives
and learned, so they don't, well, not all of them. So I really we mentioned the betrayal at the end. So his like main advisor, who, let's be honest, gives off a Weasley vibe like immediately, but also has like words of wisdom. And it makes sense, and it's good. But the note I wrote here is, every fucking time there's a problem, or someone turns around, this guy's like, oh, well, and I have the wisdom of the years. And he just has some really on-point, clever thing to say, and it works really well. But you think everyone else in the room is like, how does that fucker have the wisest shit to say at all times? Like, what a dick.
Well, I mean, obviously, spoilers, we've already told you the plot and everything, but it's because he's manipulated everything. Like, he's garnered the situation to happen. So, obviously, he's sitting there knowing what to say because he's planned this all out, like, in advance. And that's, like, a huge, like, part of this film. The first real theme I see going through it is the King Henry's massive sense of loss. His mother's not even in the film. She died when he was a kid. Then, his dad's already basically got rid of him and then literally gets rid of him. Then he loses his brother. Then his dad dies. And then throughout the film, he then basically loses Falstaff towards the end, who dies in the grottiest and most horrible battle.
We'll get there.
But we'll get there. And then at the very end, he loses his closest advisor. Like, the whole film, it's like more and more of the world's just chipping away at him.
Yeah, grim.
Yeah, but it's great. Like, I love watching him suffer.
A very headstrong person.
Yeah.
I wrote down, the heading scene continues in the blunt and messy realism. He doesn't like being betrayed.
No, and again, his cousin, who was just like, they've been like friends since they were kids, and he's just like, nah, you fucked me about, mate.
Yeah, public execution, that's the only way.
Oh, yeah, and that's the only... When the first head gets cut off, that's the only, like, bit of CG in the film that I really noticed, because it looks a little shaky at that point when his head falls down. But, yeah, I mean, until Robert Pattinson arrives, I haven't got a huge amount of more notes. So, do you have anything between now and when old Robbie turns up?
I've got a few. There's a scene when Falstaff, played by, it's Joel Edgerton?
Who helped write and produce this. Yeah, Edgerton.
Yeah, I wrote that down because it's important. There's a scene, we'll get on to the purpose of the scene in a minute, where he's having a bath. And he's like fully naked, legs like akimbo, on the edge of like the big round wooden tub as they do. And there's two like little kids there, like in the room, like on screen. So he's just naked in there. The scene serves no purpose. There's no story moving forward. I was just like, do you think he insisted? I just really want to bathe in front of some kids. I feel like we could have done without the scene, or at least the nudity, or the children. Just, you could lose one element of that scene and it would be fine.
No, it's real, Isaac. It's real because...
I paid for this, I want kids and a bath.
He's like eating some like nice meat or vegetable or fruit at the same time as well, and he's like, very nice.
It's showing that he's looked after, I guess. But
it's a step up. It's a step up in the world because I think that we never see it, but I think the gist is very much is that he was a really good knight for his father and was basically put in charge of looking after the prince. But as the prince's reputation fell, so did his. So like this is his like triumphant moment returning to the court. Not that he really gives a shit, but all he wants is like a nice bath and a foot rub.
And two kids, poor kids. Poor kids. I said, I love the siege scene when they get over to France and immediately start sieging a castle. There's no waves of men running over the walls with ladders or battering rams storming the gates. It's just like 3 trebuchets and just fucking pummeling them for days, because that's what they did. They're just like, you can come out and fight where it's better for me, or you can stay in there and starve.
Yeah.
Like, that's the 2 choices you've got.
Do you like burning rocks?
Yeah,
do you like burning rocks?
It's just for like, it's like at least a week, right? They don't really say, but it's been a while. And everyone's getting edgy and wants to do stuff, but it works eventually because they come and surrender. And I really, really like Falstaff just being fucking useless at all opportunities. I know it comes off later, and I only speak when it's worth saying something, or whatever he says. But every time people like all turn to him in the tent for an idea, and he's like, I haven't met that guy, so it's like I don't know what he's gonna do. Like, it's just fucking useless. But it makes it all the more epic when he finally does talk. And my next note, Robert Pattinson. So you can go.
Oh yeah, I mean, God damn it, is he not chewing every bit of scenery in a 100-mile radius? He is fucking going for it. I know for a fact that the director was just like, you know what, Rob? Go for it. Fucking go for it. Like, they wanted him to be this larger-than-life, ridiculous character. And even though when you're watching it, it's almost a little jarring at the start, watching him come in and be like, you will surrender to me! To me! Bow down, little boy!
His accent was terrible, but
yes,
he was great. And I'm not sure, I don't think I'd seen him in anything else since, he's the Twilight guy, right? But after watching it, like, a couple of years ago now, I saw that he'd done, like, a bunch of little like independent movies and stuff, and he's actually worth his fucking soul. And in this movie, regardless of the accent, which is like infamously bad in like in the reviews and stuff, his like acting is really cool. Like, he's fucking unstable, like so unstable and scary. Like, he has that power, he's got it. But it's
it all comes across as like posturing. Like, he's thinking, I'm on my home turf. You've come here with your army. I'm gonna say that you have a small dick, which he literally does. You have a tiny pecker or something that he says, and just try and intimidate him. And I just love that Timothée Chalamet's just standing there, just like deadpan face, just like, are you fucking done?
Like, well, he thinks he's a little boy, but he's so wrong.
He's at you with a tiny cock. Like, he's got some really fun lines in this.
He's fun. He's a good character. So he's, for the audience, he's playing like a kind of similarly frowned upon prince of the French king, right? He's like kind of cast aside, but not as much as Henry was.
Well, I think it's a bit different because his dad is like genuinely going mad. Like, the King of France is going mad, and he's obviously in line to take the throne. But I didn't get the sense that he was pushed aside.
They mention a few things like he doesn't speak for the king. He doesn't, like, he's kind of gone rogue a little bit. He's
trying
got
to
his
prove
own
himself.
He's got his own army, and he kind of just roams around. But like, there's a bit where they're trying to sue for peace or something, and one of the advisors is like, he doesn't speak for the king. So that kind of just lets me like a kind of familiarity on both sides. You see what I mean? Like, he's not quite the loved son and heir. That's the vibe I got from those few little lines. Anyway, that's the character, just so people have a rough idea what we're talking about. I love the Archbishop with the lisp. He's just like the biggest dweeb at any opportunity. And my favourite is when they're marching on the warpath and he's got like a little basket that he's sitting in that people are carrying, and he's swinging backwards and forwards and swinging, and he's just like so uncomfortable. Whenever I think Henry rides past, just looking down at him like, you fucking loser.
And there's a bit when they're crossing a stream, and obviously some like lesser priests have come with them who don't have their own little carrying thing. So you see one trying to look all noble and stuff as he's just got his arms around 2 knights that are just carrying him in their arms, and he's like, yes, this is fine. I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Such a dweeb. Hilarious dweeb.
And then he just cuts the head off some kids. Just the Dauphin, Robert Pattinson. Cuts the head off some kids, just for fun. Just to be like,
to send a message.
Yeah. And then...
as a message, that's horrid.
And then we get we arrive at Agincourt, the field of battle where the main confrontation of the film takes place. And we get a mirroring of early on in the film where he goes and challenges the Dauphin to one-on-one combat, like he did at the start of the film with Henry Hotspur. And Henry Hotspur, being an honourable man, accepts the challenge. And the Dauphin, not being an honourable man, because he's French...
We'll bleep that out. We'll bleep it out.
Just gets there and, has this moment where he's challenging him, and no, he demands his surrender and all this. So Henry, you can see Henry's like disappointed. Like he genuinely doesn't want to lose his men. Like he genuinely cares about his people. But
the Dauphin's got tons of knights.
Yeah.
Tons and tons of knights. So why would you bother? Knights. Yeah, I wrote down Falstaff is just the fucking most honourable character. So the kind of turning point of this battle, Falstaff, who's been absolutely useless during this entire war, finally speaks up, but it's like the most epic tactics that anyone could have come up with. Basically reads the land and knows battle, and basically sees this hill, which the French are on top of, as the perfect opportunity, because he knows the rain is coming, because he feels it in his bones.
He's got it in his knee.
Yeah, bad knee. That's right. So he feels the rain's coming, and says if we wait until the morning, that place will turn into, just a squalid mud pit. What we'll do is we'll lure them out with some heavy infantry. They'll charge. It'll go all fucky with all the mud, and then we go in with no armor and light weapons, essentially.
Yeah.
And no horses, which is a big deal in those days. And everyone's like, "You're crazy, man! You're crazy!" But it's that's what they're all like. You crazy motherfucker! And they obviously do that. But the best bit is the morning when Henry catches Falstaff armouring up. He's decided to go with the armoured infantry because it's his plan, and why should he send people? Squad. Why should he send people to die if he's not going to do it himself? Yeah. And I think he's a bit done with life as well. I get the vibe he's a bit like, I've done my purpose, I'm a bit tired, this is how I want to go out.
Yeah, well, he literally says, I'm either going to die here or at the bottom of a bottle.
At the bottom of people.
A bottom of a bottle in Eastcheap.
Yeah.
So he's just like, I may as well die doing something, worthwhile. And my next note here is about just before the battle starts. Henry's giving a speech to his men, and I think that should be our new national anthem. Make it England! Make it England! I was like, yeah, come on, guys, and fucking get him!
It's coming home! It's coming home! It's never coming home, Lewis.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
So yeah, I wrote, very good battle scene, possibly one of the best.
Honestly, didn't it? I genuinely felt claustrophobic at that point, where he's like looking up and he's like gasping. I was watching it just like...
the first time, 100%. Yeah, I wrote the mud, the grit, the savagery, the weight of like an entire army pressing on all around. I've been in some pretty... Arctic Monkeys at Benicassim was like the biggest crush that I've ever been in, and that was horrible.
Yeah,
I can imagine doing it like with my actual life on the line.
Yeah, like mud in your face.
Do you know what I hate in films? Is when people who should clearly be wearing helmets don't wear helmets, so we can tell who the main characters are when they go in not wearing helmets. But in this, he gets like, Falstaff gets like dinged really badly with like a mace, so he has a reason to take it off, and it's like, there's Falstaff. So they still did it so we can know who he is, but all they had to do is just bonk him on the head a little bit so he could take the helmet off. I hate it when people like run into war with no fucking helmet on. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, he's literally, you can like hear the ringing in his ears and everything when he gets clocked in the head, pulls it off, and he's sort of like gasping for air. It's been a traumatic moment, and if I was in that situation, as I commonly am, I would be sitting there thinking, I need to get this goddamn helmet off as well. But it's just, fair enough. And then what I love about the next little bit is, okay, so we got the King of England here. He's waiting. He's really concerned about his friend. He wants to go in and save him, but he needs to hold off until all the French are drawn in. And he's like, okay. He's waking up that morning. He's picking up his weapon, and he's like, what do I choose? What do I choose? Oh, there we go. The metal rod with an iron in it, like iron nail in it. And it's just like, that's fucking badass. He's just running along with this little stick.
I thought it's a hammer, isn't it?
Pretty much, but it's got like a spike on it.
Yeah. That's like an anti-armor hammer. Like,
Yeah.
That's like the point. The point of it. They're going in to trash some fucking knights.
But
and
that would be so good in that situation compared to like a sword.
Well, that's what they've all got. They've all got like little fucking hammers because that's what the best thing against plate. But I wrote, love the little hammer, badass killing spree. Because his little run through this mostly, because he starts at the outside of the crowd, so it's less condensed. And he's just like rolling off people, slamming them on the head. He gets really mud. He like chokes someone in the mud. He's not loving it though. You can tell that he's like determined, but he's good at it. Like he's really good at it. And it's a cool little spree that he goes on.
Yeah, I've got a note here saying suffocating in mud sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah. Let's get through the last bit, I think. So I love it when, the iconic kind of scene when the Dauphin finally comes out to challenge him.
Yes.
He's like, go on then, let's do it. And he's all plated up. Henry's just standing there panting, exhausted. You're kind of like, well, Henry's fucked. Like, he's way too tired against this guy in plate. But it's so goddamn muddy, Lewis. And he just starts stumbling around and, like, trying to get up. And it's just a laughing stock. But there's no one's laughing. It's just silence. But then Henry just kind of... I think he sticks the sword that he's picked up from the ground. He just sticks it in the ground and like gives like a casual nod to his mates like nearby. Who just set on him like a pack of dogs and just start stabbing the Dauphin and shit to the ground. He doesn't even want to dirty his hands with this prick.
Well, that's the point. You don't get that he's in it for the pride and the glory. Yeah. He never even went to war for that. He was doing it because he was just... Everyone was telling him, if you don't stop this guy, he's going to invade us. So go there, put an end to it, and make peace. Like, he's genuinely after peace. And then, right after that, he's walking around the battlefield and he finds Falstaff. And, he does kind of what you would imagine someone would do in that situation. He sort of sits down, loses it for about 5 seconds, and then sort of accepts it, doesn't want to break down too much in front of his men. But I really, really love the fact that he really respects Falstaff. He really takes on all of his advice. And earlier on, he had the opportunity to kill a bunch of prisoners. And Falstaff is just like, you fucking do it. I'm not doing that. That's not who you are. And it's certainly not who I am. And then right after he's got up and sort of accepted that Falstaff's dead, they come up and they say, we've got a load of prisoners, sir. What do you want us to do with them? And he's like, fucking kill them. Like, I love that. Like, it broke him a little. It kind of broke him a little bit, I think. Yeah. Just a little snap.
Yeah. So my next one, when the big reveal comes that the advisors orchestrated it all, this shady motherfucker, very bad liar. I feel like this would have been the exact moment that he'd been preparing for the entire thing. The final confrontation when the guy finds out and he's like, I think we should get back to business. And he's like, has no idea what to say.
He's like, stay on that stool.
And all of it is just for a few more sheep. He's done it all so he can have a bit more land, a bit more sheep. But my favourite bit about the whole thing is, he ends up getting stabbed in the head whilst begging for mercy. And there's just a little boy standing there. Again, they just love having kids in the corners of rooms. He's just standing there like, please don't hurt me. He's just stabbed a guy in the head. So that was my last note. The boy just sitting there when William gets shanked.
Yeah. That's fun.
Good ending. Great ending.
Yeah. And then...
with cheering in the background.
Yeah, and then he gets the part where, because he's marrying the French king's daughter to sort of consolidate his throne, and then right before he kills that guy, she's just like, what do you think you're doing? Like, what, my father never sent assassins after you and all this. And the moment
she
where
he reveals it.
Yeah, and the moment where he's realizing how much he's been played, you can just see this cold stare go over his face, and he's just like, I've got some fucking people to talk to.
I got some fucking shanking to do. Yeah. Great film. Floppy or sloppy though?
Oh,
sloppy.
Oh, absolutely, the sloppiest.
Almost literally.
Which is good, by the way, in case you
don't
know our rating.
I know. Our rating system is terrible.
Yeah, they both sound pretty bad.
Yeah. I don't know, a sloppy cheeseburger. Yeah. Anyway, sloppy film, as in it was brilliant.
Yeah, very good.
We are way overrunning. I feel like we might have to extend the runtime of our podcast a little bit.
Well, it's however long it is, If you want consistency, listen to someone else.
Don't come in my butt.
Oh. But yeah.
Ooh. Did I just find the line? I found the line. Okay, cool. Got it.
It's all right. I'll edit it out.
Right. Straight into RPG stuff.
Yeah, we might as well.
Okay. So this week I am GMing our sci-fi universe with Leslie Gleeble-Glorp. We've seen him be arrested, taken into custody, and escape prison. Basically the two things that have happened. He's flown away. Leslie Gleeble-Glorp, our Lizardman spacefaring smuggler of luxury items in his wooden prawn-shaped ship. Does it have a name?
Ooh, the calamari.
On the nose.
Sure.
That's what we're here for.
That's roleplay, baby.
How does Leslie sleep?
With his eyes open, he gets a sort of one lid comes down, which is still see-through.
Yeah.
I kind of believe that's how lizards sleep, but he also weirdly does it hanging from the ceiling with his claws clamped around something.
I fucking knew you'd say that. No lizards in the world do that, but I knew you'd say that. He's going to be hanging from the ceiling, isn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Okay, so he's hanging from the ceiling, he's staring off into space.
Yeah.
And suddenly the room is illuminated.
Is he on the ship?
Oh yeah, he's on the ship. We're on the ship at the moment. Sorry, I thought that was clear by mentioning the ship, but you're right. He is in his quarters, and he's woken by an illuminated red kind of, not quite a klaxon, but going on in his cabin, and the door opens up, and in scuttles, I think on the roof, just for extra creep, is your arachnid droid. Sometimes it's a scorpion, sometimes it's a spider, whatever you say, with basically C-3PO's head on. And he's like, Master, life form detected in the cargo bay.
Well, have you checked out what it might be?
Why would I do that? That is your job. I just read the screens.
Actually, I disagree. I definitely. I mean, I don't pay you, but if I did, that would certainly be in the job requirements.
What do I do if I encounter a life form?
I don't know. Have you got any offensive weapons on you there?
I have a Gatling gun in my tail.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like... I mean, quite a bad idea to use that inside my wooden spaceship, but why don't I just go take a little peek?
I was going to say, what are you going to do while I go and check out the life form, Master?
You're getting very sarky.
I kept this ship protected while you were in prison.
Well, yes, but that is your job. Anyway, I'm going to go have a little peeky poo. He'll get down from the ceiling. He will grab a little stun blaster and slip it into his egg sack.
Okay, that's going to come up again. Yeah, that's going to happen in every episode. By the way, egg sack. I can get more stuff in there.
Nothing. Egg sack stuff instead of butt.
No, that one flopped.
Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, you go to the cargo bay. What have you been transporting recently? What do you think is likely to be in there?
Sandpaper.
Luxury item.
Hey, I always said it was like toilet paper and chocolate and things like that. Like, it's luxury stuff on his planet, but they live like underground in holes or whatever and have wooden spaceships.
Sandpaper very important then.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't overuse it. So let's say sandpaper, coconuts, and hair ties.
Well, the hair that the lizards need. Okay, maybe that's how they hold the ships together. Maybe you just described all the things they need to make a ship. Coconuts.
How are you going to hold a spaceship together with hair ties, Isaac? Think. You're being ridiculous.
They're lizard men and women. Okay, fine. That red light is just flashing above the door. There's no other. It's a pretty low tech ship. There's no other kind of scanners or anything here. Do you open the door?
Well, of course.
is that the lights kind of flicker on above you. Coconuts spilled all over the floor. And in the background, it doesn't take long to hear you, as the light kind of floods into the room from the corridor you're in, you see a disheveled, kind of androgynous looking, maybe male, running towards you in like a kind of flowing robe, and he's like, "Help! It's coming!" And he runs over to you and kind of just like hides behind you, like, you know, Scooby or Scrappy might, not Scrappy,
Scrappy do.
Shaggy, you know, hide behind Fred and something. So he's like pointing over your shoulder, like, "Please help! Stop it, please!"
How did you get onto my spacecraft?
The coconuts!
The coconuts? You were inside a coconut?
It's not the time! Please help! And as he does that, he's pointing towards the back of the room where you see a faint purple glow.
Okay, well, first thing Leslie's doing is pulling out the stun gun and stunning the guy. Because he's just like,
he's hysterical.
I do not trust this person has smuggled himself onto my smuggling ship.
So where is your egg sack? Your egg pouch? Where is it?
Whoa, sort of the gooch area.
Is it your front or back? Like straight up the middle?
Yeah. Let's just say, I mean, down there somewhere.
So the guy is just like looking over your shoulder, and you just kind of lean over a little bit.
Have a rummage.
What are you doing? Actually, no. Let's roll for it. We didn't roll enough last time. Let's roll to see how well you might stun this guy. 2d6.
7.
7 is a mixed success.
He's a dead leg.
No, he goes down, but he's still like wailing. He's not like unconscious or anything. He's a little bit paralyzed on like the left side. What are you doing to me? This is not going to help me survive.
Three more shots into him.
It's like the lawyer that you just kept punching until he stopped. Yeah, okay. We'll establish that you can just keep going after the roll. Yeah, he stuns unconscious, and that purple glow is slowly growing in intensity. The low humming.
Yeah, he's just going to walk in, weapon raised, just go, "Excuse me, what is this purple light which you are extending into the cargo bay?"
And as soon as that voice comes out, something stirs from behind the boxes. You see the light kind of moving around behind the boxes until something darts out super fast. You can't really make out what it is. It's coming straight towards you. You have like a split-second reaction.
He's going to shoot and simultaneously try and roll out the way off to the side, and he got a 6.
Failure. As the gun is knocked away by something kind of sticky and a little bit pleasurable, as it pushes your hand away, and you feel the same sensation around your neck, around your face, as many tentacles kind of just attach themselves to you, and then it pulls back slightly. It's not choking you, it's not hurting you in any way, but now it's touching you. You can hear it inside your mind, as this thing pulls back to you to reveal itself to be a kind of, I'm going to say space octopus. Its little head is just covered in like hundreds of eyes, all blinking at you, and it's got way too many tentacles to count. It's a space octopus, space jellyfish, and it just taps into your mind and says, "Oh, hello."
Okay, well, at that point, he's probably going to be going, "I'm incapacitated, correct?"
Nope.
No,
you are just being slightly caressed, slightly held. Oh, hello. What did you do to the mail?
I'm a little bit confused about what's going on right now. Could you explain to me who you are?
I have no name, but we could get to know each other.
I'm not too sure.
Who are you?
With that. My name's Leslie. All my friends call me Leslie.
You can call me anything you like.
Hello, anything you like. I'm
that was weak.
All right, you get a little snarky. Everyone's getting so snarky with me today.
now that we have touched, he kind of backs away. So he's no longer touching you. It is no longer touching you. It's just kind of floating there in the air. Sort of coconuts on the floor, illuminated by this purple glow it's giving off. But you can still hear it in your head. It's made that connection. He kept running away. I just wanted to mate.
Are you intending to do that with me instead?
That depends.
On what?
Well, I am the last of my species, and I simply must mate. So, I guess there are two choices in the room.
Him over there would be a better choice, I would suggest.
No hesitation. I like that.
Well, my egg sac is kind of full.
We can make it fuller.
No, thank you.
I can only mate once, are you sure?
Very positive, thank you very much.
This is just the one-time deal going. He's starting to, float towards the incapacitated body.
Leslie's saying, absolutely, over there. And he's also sort of put his arm behind his back and playing with the little wrist control that he has, which he can send messages to his android on.
You can text, it's like a bleeper. 911.
Yeah. So, obviously at the back of the spacecraft, of the calamari, there's a big cargo door that opens. But the side door is in, a corridor off of that. And that's the entrance which he came through. And he's basically telling his android, I believe I called it something like Mark. Matthew or Mark or Luke or John or Judas.
It's Matthew.
He's telling Matthew basically on my command, if and when I command, to shut the doors to the corridor and open the outside hatch, which would hopefully suck him out, depressurize and suck it out.
In the cargo hold?
No, in the corridor. Because I shot the guy down in the doorway.
Okay. So it would vent the entire whatever's open. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So you're standing by on that. You're not doing it now.
No. If it's basically, there's always a trigger word which he has, and it's peanuts.
It's peanuts. Okay. The octopus is slowly drifting down, all of its eyes kind of just turning around its head towards you and blink at you in unison. And it's like, last chance, if you want to mate with me, once in a lifetime opportunity, it's mating time. And he's just about fiddling with the lips of this guy as he's clearly found an orifice that he likes.
Oh, God.
He's just tonguing it with his tentacles, slightly opening the mouth. Are you sure? Last chance.
Just fucking get on with it, alright?
Okay, but you can watch. And he just pushes himself slowly and painfully down this guy's throat. It's like his jaw is almost distending as he's just pushing his entire self into this random guy that was in your cargo hold. You have no idea who he is or how important he might be. Eventually there's one last as the last tentacle kind of slips down the guy's mouth and it starts to kind of convulse a little bit. Do you do anything?
Ugh. I mean, Leslie's already been wrapped up in a difficult situation beforehand. Doesn't want to get arrested again, but now he's kind of concerned about this creature hybrid that's forming. So I think he's going to quickly run over and grab either, he won't have handcuffs, but he'll have ties and maybe some chains to hold the cargo in place. And he's quickly chaining or tying the guy's arms together and then tying him to a wall, restraining him tightly so he can, see what progresses. And then sort of kicking him in the leg to see what happens.
Kick him in the leg, yeah, you wake him up. He kind of comes to with a... Whoa! And you can see that his eyes have gone purple. Every so often, a little tentacle kind of flicks out of its ear or nose, or you can see it squirming around behind his eyes. And he's he kind of shocked for a moment. You see him flexing his fingers, kind of trying to move his neck a bit, and he's like, "Oh, hello again. I have successfully mated. Why am I restrained? I thought you did not want to mate."
Jesus, man, when did you write this one?
Don't write anything. I'm making this up, dude. Let's go.
Well, it's just a precaution. I don't know who either of pair of you or one of you now is or were or whatever your pronouns are. So, yeah, how did you get onto my ship?
The coconuts.
Yeah, you keep saying the coconuts, but I'd like more of an explanation, if that's okay.
Well, you may call me whatever you wish, for you have single-handedly saved my entire species. You must be so you must be so thrilled. And in return, I will serve you, Les.
No one calls me Les. My name's Leslie. Thank you very much.
Okay, Les.
Where would you like dropping off?
I will remain with you for your entire life. We are now bonded beyond mating.
Oh, goodness gracious me. Okay then. Well, let's just... Hey, Matthew, could you let me know where the nearest planet is that we can pop down to? And, yeah, because we need to get some lunch. I feel it's lunchtime.
You haven't said the word yet. Yes, master? The voice is very similar, I've just realised. So, yeah, he's on your little earpiece or something?
Yeah, just basically get us down to a planet so I can ditch this thing.
Yeah, I guess you can maybe, feel the ship kind of start accelerating. And what are you going to do with this squid boy that you haven't named? He's just kind of smiling at you, maybe smouldering if you can. Again, slightly androgynous, this guy, wearing very high-class robes. He says, "Are you to restrain me for a long time? I have stamina."
Well, we'll just see how things go, I suppose. But you just stay there for the time being, and oh dear, I'll do you want a drink or anything? Can I get you a glass of water?
I require nothing but your attention.
Well, isn't that right?
And we'll wrap it.
So I've just got a new friend now.
You got a new friend now. I didn't know what you were going to do with him. You could have shot him. You could have accepted him into your own. But now you have, a little friend. Devoted friend.
Yes, you see, your character in your roleplay is like this warlock. He's got a patron, all this sort of thing. A magic wielder. Leslie's just a goddamn coward. Some of us were meant to be heroes. Leslie wasn't one of them.
Take him. You ruined my coconuts. All right.
Oh dear.
That went a bit better than I expected. Yeah, I literally wrote down one line. You were asleep and there's something in the cargo bay. And then I made it up.
Yeah.
Sexy octopus.
God, yeah. I feel sorry for your wife.
All right, well, I think that's going to do it for Nothing But Stuff episode 5. Obviously, the usual: like, subscribe, share with your friends, email us at nothingbutstuff@gmail.com. 2 T's in the butt.
But you're forgetting one thing, Mr. Harwood.
What am I forgetting?
What film are we watching next week?
I always forget the sign. I need a little checklist or something. Yeah, okay. We've got 2 more things then. Ready for the film?
Oh, God.
The film is... No, I've picked something. I'm genuinely intrigued.
Okay.
It's called... So it's Primer.
Primer?
Primer. Primer from 2004. Mm-hmm. This film, I've mentioned it in our group chat once or twice. This was written, directed, starred, and scored by a man called Shane Carruth.
Is this a vanity project? This sounds like a vanity project.
Hold on. This is a cool little thing. It had a $7,000 budget. 7,000. That's 7,000. It made $850K at the box office. Okay. So that's a good profit.
Okay.
Pretty good profit. It's known or thought of as one of the best depictions of time travel in any kind of media that's been published before. Okay. That's a big reach. It's one of the better depictions of time travel in a movie. We'll keep it there.
I think I may have heard of this, but no.
Mentioning it in the group chat.
Possibly.
Primer 2004. We're going to watch that, see what happens. $7,000 budget with time travel. Let's see. That could be interesting.
Cannot be worse than Mazes and Monsters.
No, apparently it's genuinely good. I picked something good. I do have a list of B movies here that I'll do next time.
When can we watch Samurai Cop? Because I've seen it a dozen times and I love it. I think
it's probably been done to death by movie podcasts, but that is on the list for some point. Maybe a Christmas special.
Maybe.
And then I guess to sign us off, stupid stuff that my kid cried about.
Oh, please.
Just a quick one. I wouldn't let her hand pick all the sweet corn out of my dinner. No, you got to remember, she fucking lost her mind when I wouldn't let her pull the sweet corn out of my dinner. All right, guys. Ta-ra!
Thanks very much, everyone. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
Bing bong, bing bong, bing. Welcome to your mercifully shorter socials plug. It's just me, Isaac Harwood. Finally, we're alone. Please do follow us on Instagram and Twitter at NBStuffPodcast. Feel free to say hi, but just remember who's in charge there, all right? And for all this laughter, it's only fair that you give us a sizable percentage of your wage. Find us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/nothing-but-stuff. 2 T's in the butt, of course. Thank you. Bye. Suck my dick, suck my dick, suck my dick, suck my dick.